Let's start the show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Triangle Defense Podcast. I'm your host, Alex Ortega.
I'm Jonathan King.
And we are back with another episode, back to our regular scheduled programming here, back for the Sunday episode. It's been an interesting week of NBA basketball, a lot of stuff related to on-court stuff, a lot of off-court issues going on too. We'll get into that.
Teams separating themselves from the pack. We're looking at who's starting to see who's frauds, who's legit, who's whatever. But before we get into it, Alex, I got to ask, so you're on Twitter fairly frequently. I see you every now and then. You make some good jokes.
Oh, yeah.
Who's good in the NBA to follow on Twitter? It could be media guy. It could be a player. It could be a GM. I know people who would fit all three of those categories for NBA follows. Like Daryl Morey's a good follow.
Daryl Morey is a good follow, yeah.
He's a good follow because he gets sassy every now and then, and he's a big stats nerd. So he always he's first to defend the wall of analytics. Haralabos Vugaris, formerly of the Mavericks front office, is a good follow. He's even snarkier. And he's pretty sure of himself, but it's a good follow. And then as a player, every now and then Jimmy Butler will have some good tweets. But I think the champion of NBA Twitter as a player is Kevin Durant. You know,
I was gonna say a sneaky good NBA player when it comes to Twitter. I like Damian Lillard on Twitter.
Yeah,
he snaps back at a lot of people too, and he even crosses over. I like when players do that. He's a big Raiders fan, and he gets into
him
NFL
and
talk. Him and
CJ, actually, even Nurkic is on Twitter. Nurkic gets salty all the time. He'll defend Portland. He'll go after fans. McCollum's a little more level-headed, but he's more of a fan of the game. Right. You can tell, they'll watch basketball when they're in the NBA when they're not playing. But McCollum actively tweets throughout the games about, plethora of different things. He's always tweeting about watching NBA games like that.
Yeah, Draymond is okay, depending on how you look at it as well too.
Complains a lot, yeah.
I'm gonna kind of cheat on this too because one of my favorite follows on NBA Twitter is not a player or like a real NBA media person. It's a YouTuber, a funky diabetic. I don't know if you've ever caught any of his video. A funky diabetic.
A funky diabetic.
Dude, he is one of
Kenny beats him.
Yeah, Kenny's good on Twitter too. And I don't know if you've ever watched Rusty Buckets either.
No.
Rusty Buckets, he's one of my favorites as well too. But a funky diabetic, his videos it's pretty much just like no nonsense stuff. He doesn't do any of like the YouTuber things or whatever. He goes into videos, no intro. No outro or anything like that. Legit just talks about basketball the entire time. Yeah. And one of his videos, I just reminded why I love his channel. He was watching highlights of I believe it was the Lakers versus the Thunder, and he got an ad for a McRib, and he was like, he just started going into his McDonald's order and all of that. And
you get the J Balvin meal.
I did not get that one. I got the Travis Scott one. And
the whole thing about like the McDonald's, I was telling my roommate this the other day, the whole thing about like the McDonald's orders is such like, you think like if Scott had a signature order or J Balvin, whoever the fuck, you'd think they would have like some burger that you can't get otherwise. But J Balvin's order is literally like a Big Mac, a McFlurry, and like fries.
Right.
It's like that's not a J Balvin order. That's like everyone's order. Like,
well, Travis Scott's was a quarter pounder with barbecue bacon and barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
The barbecue sauce came on the side. I was like, I could have done this whenever, and I thought like
genius smart.
And I was looking at I thought maybe the little box it came in, the bag was going to be different or whatever. No, it just said Travis Scott on the goddamn.
Yeah, you could always order the Travis Scott. And I don't think – you think McDonald's wants to still associate with Travis Scott anymore?
I was just about to say
like, sorry to go there, but –
maybe we shouldn't even.
Yeah, I don't know about
Yikes. But, I would definitely check out a Funky Diabetic because, like I said, it's no
name.
Nonsense. Yeah, it came from a Wu-Tang Clan song, and he's a Celtics fan. So, like, legit, he's just just looking right now. He just said, Luka, please don't kill my dreams. Just regarding the buzzer beater the other night. And
Jason Tatum's killing his dreams by shooting like 25 a game, or 25 a game on like 24 shots. All right, Alex, going into some stories around the NBA. 3-pointers. Going to list 3 things that we went over. 3 things that I know this week.
Yeah, you guys know what time of the show it is by now. Me and John both bring 3-pointers that we found throughout the NBA week, and we discuss them. And you want to start us off today, John?
Yeah, Karl-Anthony Towns got hacked on Twitter. It's a rampage. It's Karl-Anthony Towns got hacked in the offseason. It was Jay Williams.
I was going to say it's probably the same person who hacked Jay Williams and Jamal Murray.
Oh, God, yeah. It's reaching epidemic proportions. When is Adam Silver going to step in and, the security of the NBA is compromised. It's really a tragedy. So someone tweeted a picture of Cat reacting positively after a dunk or something and said Cat when he gets off his Minnesota contract. And response to that was #FreeCat, which Karl-Anthony Towns favorited. And then he unfavorited it and then claimed that he was hacked. My heart goes out to him.
I saw his tweet. He was like, "Don't worry, guys. I changed my password and we're all good now." Why would I just to look at it from like a logistical standpoint?
Oh yeah.
Why would anybody hack someone with? Well, what do you think? Cat has probably. I mean, just off a guess, he has maybe I'm gonna guess like 500,000 followers.
No, more than that. I'd say. Let me look it up. He's probably got over 1 million on Twitter.
Yeah, true. He has been in the NBA for a while. It's probably just every person in the state of Minnesota.
Yeah. Okay, he's got 630,000. So
okay, so I was kind of close.
Yeah,
and
you were close. Yeah.
So why would anybody hack a Twitter account with 600,000 whatever? Just put. I'm sure that takes time and effort and all that stuff, and just one tweet.
That's what I would do.
just like one tweet and not tweet anything dumb or whatever. Just that was.
He said that he had 3 people that had access to his Twitter account, and he said that none of them did it. So it has to be a hacker. Case closed. We've eliminated all of them. They didn't do it. They said they didn't do it, so they didn't do it.
Right.
It's really tragic. This is coming off, of course, a week where Karl-Anthony Towns was quoted as saying that a couple game slide in Minnesota can lead to 18, 19, or 20 games. He seems like he's having a blast. Again, there's nothing – he hasn't vocally stated that he wants out of Minnesota. He's stated a couple times throughout the years that he's wanted to be there. He's wanted to play there, and he's got his friends there and stuff like that. But
just going back to it too, like, do players think that people aren't going to see this? Like Marvin Bagley,
at this point.
Right? Yeah, like Marvin Bagley liked to tweet about getting him out of Sacramento and whatever.
He's been very vocal about that. Him and his dad.
Yeah, that one's not a surprise. But like, do players just? I mean, I don't think Marvin Bagley cares, but other guys that like a Jay Williams or anything like that. Do people?
Yeah.
Like we see through the bullshit. Like,
and Cat's like what, 25, 26, 27?
He's a year older than me, so he's probably young.
He's like
pushing
25,
like 26.
And it's not like Paul Pierce who's like 40 and tweeting like rocket emoji pictures.
Yeah,
like just a JPEG of a rocket emoji, or like leaking on Instagram like a story of him just like getting drunk and like hanging out with strippers. He's got a Twitch. He's got his own Twitch. He's like very tech savvy. If he did this, if he did this, or whoever owns his Twitter account did or whatever, which is probably more likely if we're being honest. He did it because he wanted people to see that.
Yeah, right. Then, exactly.
Because like I'm sure there's NBA players that do that. Be like, oh, they'll see this, and then mess with the entire NBA world. Because if LeBron liked the tweet saying like you storm that if LeBron liked the tweet saying like come back to Cleveland to finish it off or something like that, like everyone would see it to be a massive story, and LeBron knows this, so
I want to know what Jamal Murray's reasoning was then.
What are you referencing with Jamal Murray? Oh, That's what you're okay.
Yeah.
I was just making sure. I didn't think there was another thing. Yeah, no, Jamal. Yeah, I don't know what he was thinking. That was way worse. Way worse.
That was a lot worse because I remember I woke up and I had a bunch of messages from my group chat, and I saw Jamal Murray trending, and I was like, in my head, I was just like, Nuggets. I don't even think the Nuggets
Injured
played last
again.
night. And yeah, right, injured. I was like, I don't even think the Nuggets played last night. Clicked on it, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And I got it out of there fast.
Not safe for work. And did he claim that he was hacked?
Yeah. Yeah, he was like, oh, he's like, we're gonna find out who the hacker was.
We're gonna find out who put my camera there.
And they did the SpongeBob meme where it's SpongeBob pointing at like a wanted sign, and it's him. Yeah.
That's even worse. I didn't know that he claimed he was hacked. I thought.
Yeah, okay. No, yeah. He said he was hacked, and somebody leaked that. But that's a legendary night on NBA Twitter for sure. But moving forward to let's get away from that right now. But
yeah.
Moving into my first topic of this week, I've been watching the Nuggets a lot lately, actually.
Still a fun team.
Yeah, very much a fun team to watch. Jokic is playing out of his mind this season,
which is great because they'll show up at 9:30 Central Time, and you can watch them until midnight or whatever. Yeah,
exactly.
They're fun.
Oh, but one thing that hasn't been going well with this team, it's Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah, it looks bad. He airballed whiffed on a wide open dunk the other day,
and he was holding his thigh after and all
man,
that.
He's
I've done that plenty of times. I've either whiffed on a layup or anything like that, and I just go reach for my ankle, whatever. But I know what that looks like.
Have you ever done it though after you just got paid max $200 million deal?
Yeah,
a little different.
That's the thing with him, man. Is like this is a guy that had expectations going into this season. He was I didn't watch one NBA YouTube video talking about like potential breakout stars this season. I didn't read an article that didn't include Michael Porter Jr. in that conversation.
Yeah, Chris Collinsworth. Here's a guy.
Yeah.
Here's a guy that paid $200 million and he's already hurt again. Remember his pre-draft sort of. I mean, we all know he fell. He was hyped to be top 5 prospect, and he fell. He was the
number 1 pick.
Yeah, and there were reports. I mean, he didn't play for a while, even after he got picked. There were reports of what was it? Foot drop? Is that a real thing?
I have no idea.
Knee drop. I think it was foot drop, which is a spinal cord issue. He had back problems. He had knee issues, and then he started. He sort of played his way into being healthy, and he didn't have problems again. But he was like, there were reports saying that he wouldn't play again. Or ever,
right?
When he got drafted, so it is a concern.
Because I mean, like back issues, that's nothing to play with.
No,
but I feel like he's fine, right? When it comes to the back stuff, he's just playing like shit. Like looking at his numbers, he is, and like I said, this is a guy that he was your most improved player in our prediction video, and that was with very good reason. I don't know, I kind of hesitated on that one, but. All of the ingredients were there. I mean, he played well in the playoffs. Jamal Murray's out, so Jokic needs a bigger role. Just Jokic just needing that second guy, and he has not been that guy. He is averaging 10 points per game on 36% shooting from the field and 21% from 3.
That's what you want in your second option,
right? And watching the games too, he's not taking like bad shots or anything. These are all shots that he was taking last year too. He's just not making them.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it comes down to, I mean, maybe he's got some kind of injury or something that's lingering. Maybe the new ball is giving him a hard time too, but he's just looked just pretty bad this season.
Yeah. Denver's already kind of shied away from using him as much as they should be. Bones Highland has been picking up as well as their other wings, and then Jokic has been having to do a lot. He's been frustrated with this. It's just the team in general. They're missing Jamal Murray sorely, and we knew they would be. But I kind of expected them to be a team kind of like the Sixers, where they're missing one of the best players, but they're good enough. They're well coached, where they can sort of recover. They look like they're missing it's scoring option. And Murray plays a different role on that team than Ben does on the Sixers. And is a ceiling raiser, I'd say. But Murray, when you depend on him to score 20 a night or whatever, then it's it's easier to find guys that can step in and play defense than finding guys that can step in and give you an automatic bucket like Murray can, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. No, yeah, exactly. And Michael Porter Jr. has just not been good, and this could potentially, if he keeps this up, this could be like Andrew Wiggins level of getting paid and just not improving.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like I said, all of the ingredients were there for him to have a breakout season, and he's just playing like shit. And I know we're only, maybe like 10 games in or something, but that's
it's cause for concern.
Yeah. No, 100%. Yeah, because
I don't think it's the Wilson ball or the
right. He hasn't had a good game this season so far.
Yeah, and I don't know anything about his work ethic or anything, but I know he was, he didn't play much in college, if at all. Did he play? He played what? He played a game in college at Missouri too, maybe.
I think he did. Yeah. I think
he played a few games. Then
because I remember it being a huge deal when he went down.
Yeah, so you'd expect him, if you miss that much time playing basketball, because he missed that in college and he missed some time in the NBA, a lot of time in the NBA. You'd think like this would be the season where he's had the momentum, he's had rhythm, he's been fully healthy, and that means having a consistent sort of rhythm to your body and whatever your workouts in the summer. And you'd think this would be the season where he's had enough time playing where he'd put it together, and it looks like he's taking, I don't know about a step back. I guess by default a step back.
Yeah,
but
it's a step back.
Just not improving, and maybe that is a function of him not just being ready to be the primary or secondary scoring option.
I hope for Denver's sake that that's not the case, because small market teams, you can't afford to give out a ban. I mean, this will do them.
This will doom them. If Michael Porter Jr. Isn't, I mean, fuck playing 10 points a game on 30% shooting, whatever. If he's bad where he's improves his scoring a little bit and that's his ceiling for 5 years at a max deal, they're doomed. They will not recover from this. They'll have to trade him and give up picks to some shit team that will take him or some other team, and they will be doomed.
It's like when after Wiggins, rookie and sophomore season, everyone was like, the Timberwolves have a bright future, potential NBA champions, all that stuff. And then he just never got any better, and they had so much money tied into him to where Denver, like you said, I mean, like for a small market team, I mean, like a LA or a New York or I'm not going to use New York in that instance, but like a Miami or something. You can give out a bad contract and you can recover just because it's the nature of just being a big market team. That's the kind of things that teams don't recover from. I mean, look at the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yeah, I mean, well, the Nuggets are supposed to be contending now, right? And if all goes well for them, Jamal Murray's healthy, their goal is win a title, and
you're gonna need Michael Porter Jr. for that one.
Yeah, and you're either not gonna need to pay him a whole lot, or you're gonna need him to play like he's paid a whole lot, and he's not doing either right now.
Yeah, for sure. But bottom line is
the move that makes Denver trade Jokic. If there might come a point where they say we like having him, but if we're gonna have a championship contender, we might just need to start over and just trade him or get what we can for him, because he'll get too old or whatever, and Denver might see it as an option. So I'm just putting that out there. Yeah.
Yeah. Bottom line is just Michael Porter Jr. just has to be better.
I blame the Pepsi Center.
Simple as that.
Nobody goes to Nuggets games, and that's probably the negative vibes that are infecting Michael Porter Jr. with.
Maybe.
So
probably not the only thing infecting him. But
it's cool because Nuggets fans don't listen to this podcast.
Oh yeah, 100%.
For now. So yeah.
But right. moving on to what else you got for me?
Yeah. So this did happen in the past couple days, but it's been hyped up for the past couple weeks, I guess. The Robert Sarver story is more in the mainstream now because among other things, Steve Nash got asked about it. Ryan McDonough and Earl Watson were part of the story, saying, allegations of racism and misogyny to extreme levels in Robert Sarver. He was outed as if they can say it, I can too guy, which surprised pretty much no one.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when I heard that report, I was like, okay, I'm not surprised one bit. Yeah.
If you're a Suns fan, you want hard evidence because you want Robert Sarver gone. But the way this differs, some people have compared it to Steve Ballmer, and in a sense, it is the same thing. But I think it's, if you're looking at results of what Ballmer, it's way different because there's no hard evidence. As far as I'm concerned, there's no recordings, there's no emails.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's just, at this point, it's just allegations.
Allegations, which, however right or wrong they might be, they're probably right if that many people have come out. But the thing that got Ballmer, or not, I said Ballmer, I meant Sterling.
Donald Sterling, yeah, no, because that's in my head. I was just like, I was like, wait, what did Ballmer do?
No, Steve Ballmer, yeah, big correction. I love Steve Ballmer too.
Yeah, I like him too. Yeah.
No, nothing happened with Steve Ballmer. Donald Sterling.
There was phone recording, audios.
But before that, though, before Donald Sterling got caught on tape saying derogatory things about black people and Magic Johnson, it's been known in the NBA circles that Donald Sterling and the Clippers were a shit organization, and Donald Sterling was a piece of shit racist ever since he bought the 90s or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Or there's Blake Griffin. Just look up if you want to a read that's fascinating. Look up Blake Griffin's stories from his rookie years, where Donald Sterling would get black players on the team and parade them around at his events and be like, look at them, look how strong and big they are, and talk, just treat them basically just like property or whatever. It was really fucked up.
Because I forgot, it was, I believe, Chris Paul. I was watching an interview, and this was when the Lakers trade got vetoed. And he was just like, okay, well, I'm going to go to the Clippers then. I forgot what former player was like, you cannot go to the Clippers and play for Donald Sterling. He was telling him, he was like, yo, this guy's racist, and all that. And that was maybe just people that had been around him that knew. It wasn't national news the way that it was at that point. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, a lot of people have come out and said these things about Robert Sarver, and this is my thought process when it comes to allegations of any sort.
Yeah.
If one person says something about you, they might be lying. They might be exaggerating for one reason or another. If multiple people say something about you, they could be onto something. They might be right.
Yeah.
If dozens of people come out and say, you're a racist, you're a misogynist, or all this stuff, they're probably right. Those things don't necessarily just come from anywhere. And the fact that Earl Watson had specific stories and, like I said, ones that sound pretty believable. And
it was, it's a touchy subject for sure. And it's a case-by-case basis usually. But in this case, Ryan McDonough, a former longtime GM of the Suns, and Earl Watson, the head coach, they have stuff to lose, right? They could get jobs at offices, they could get jobs as analysts. So it's not like they're just coming out and just throwing allegations around. And it's not like Earl Watson was like, yeah, he shot my dog or something. He was saying, right. Some of the stories were were like you said, were super believable. Where Sarver would just waltz into the locker room all the time and. Forget what it was. Some black player on the court said the N-word.
Draymond Green.
Okay, it was Draymond Green, yeah. And then
because Draymond got fined.
Yeah, and he came in and talked about it to Earl Watson and thought it would be a great idea to say the N-word to him and say, why can't I say it if he can say it? And Earl Watson was like, what the fuck did you just say?
Yeah.
Because it's just he's so rich that it makes sense that he would have no sensibilities whatsoever when it comes to anyone's feelings or emotions or anything like that.
But then one of the stories that stuck with me the most was, did you read the LaMarcus Aldridge story?
Yes, I did. You wanna fill us in on that?
So this was the LaMarcus Aldridge free agency summer. He was one of the biggest free agents that
2015,
that
yeah.
summer.
I remember because Adam Levine posted a
The
picture
LA,
of
the
the
LaMarcus Aldridge one.
LaMarcus Aldridge in a Lakers jersey backwards with him pointing to it, very happy. Back when the Lakers' best player was like Jordan Clarkson or some shit.
And like I think that was like Julius Randle's rookie season too. Yeah.
And Jordan Hill and like just like the taxi squad of Lakers players with upside. Yeah. Robert Upshaw was being touted as like a future like all-star by Lakers. It was bad time to be a Lakers fan.
Yeah, that was a terrible time to be a Lakers fan.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was the LaMarcus Aldridge summer to where tons of teams were, trying to pick him up. I mean, LA was heavily involved in that. The Spurs were obviously heavily involved, and another team was the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah.
And shoot, because Sarver knew that he was gonna lose out on, the bidding on LaMarcus Aldridge because he had family in Texas and wanted to be around that or whatever. So Robert Sarver would try to get like what would he would have like strippers around
or like just like random thoughts to try to. His plan was because LaMarcus Aldridge said that one of the appeals to playing in San Antonio was playing closer to his kids or something, and so Robert Sarver's grand plan was to get strippers or thoughts to get impregnated by LaMarcus Aldridge, and then he would have kids in Phoenix, so he would stay and play in Phoenix.
So they would feel obligated to stay in Phoenix. Yeah, no, I've never heard anything like that. I don't know if like other owners or GMs or whatever have this same tactic, but I read that and I was just
fucking hope not, man.
Well, yeah, right. I fucking hope not. But I read that and I was like, I sent it to you immediately. Like immediately when I saw that, and I was
James Dolan pulling that off.
Maybe, yeah.
Like going for that. But the big question obviously is what's going to happen with Robert Sarver, and I think there's two arguments here to be made that something's going to happen or nothing's going to happen. The biggest thing, so NBA officially launched an official investigation 2 days ago into the allegations of racism and misogyny by Robert Sarver. And you could look at that in a number of ways, but I think it's interesting because a week or two ago, the rival league and ratings is in the NFL looked into Dan Snyder, owner of the Washington football teams, millions of allegations about all the fucked up shit he's done.
Oh, yeah.
And the NFL found nothing. And so my thought is, what an example would it be that the NBA is this bastion of progressivism, like progressive, league that they've proven themselves to be, and that's what they want to be the past.
They're the best league when it comes to
since Adam Silver took over, basically. What better example would it be than to throw Robert Sarver, heavily penalize him somehow? And people look at them compared to the NFL, like look at how they treat this compared to the clown show that is the NFL.
Yeah, right.
The other side of the coin, however, which is more likely to happen, is nothing, because Robert Sarver is worth over $2 billion. He has major pull in the NBA. He's been an owner for forever. He owns a big market team. I think the Suns have the 6th biggest market, according to market size or whatever.
Really?
Yeah. Phoenix is a huge market, not big market like you'd think of, but they're up there.
Yeah, right. I mean, going to the finals was huge for them, I'm sure.
Yeah, and just like the size, like Phoenix is the size of Phoenix, and Scottsdale, that area is
Mesa,
massive metro market. Yeah, but so he has a lot of pull just by virtue of just being rich, and if there is no hard evidence against him, I don't see for life coming out of Adam Silver's lips anytime soon regarding Robert Sarver. And it's just, they might get a big fine. Big fine. They might get penalized. I'd be surprised, like an extreme example would get penalized a pick. The same thing happened with Dallas. So you think about it, Mark Cuban, that whole front office a year ago, they got accused of, I don't know if it was one person or a bunch of people worked for the organization, saying that it was basically like a frat house where the Mavericks would brag about having sex with women, 2 women getting their reactions, some real fucked up shit again.
Yeah, no, for
and
real.
Nothing happened because Cuban pledged to fix it and personally be responsible. Did anything happen? I have no fucking idea. Maybe not. I doubt it. Some people did get fired in the past offseason. I don't think it had anything to do with that. But there is sort of a precedent for this kind of thing, and the precedent is likely nothing is going to happen to Robert Sarver.
Well, because did you see Sarver's statement about it?
I don't think so.
Yeah, the Phoenix, because I immediately rushed to the Phoenix Suns Twitter, and
I know they preemptively, before the story even came out, tried to get ahead of it, saying like Robert Sarver's not racist and not sexist, and no one said anything, which I thought funny because it's like, but I didn't see the statement after. No,
it was from Robert Sarver saying that word is not a part of my vocabulary. I've never said that. This is just saying like, oh, these are all complete lies, and this story is fabricated. That never happened. And like you said, just because we don't have any audio recordings or emails or anything like that, I don't think anything is going to happen. Just based off of just not having any evidence. Do I believe
Ryan McDonough's got like a vendetta against Robert Sarver or something?
Do I believe it? Yeah, of course. But I mean, they can't fire him or ban him from the league without even just one email or anything like that.
The NBA doesn't want that shitstorm. If they do nothing, it'll pass longer than if they fired him or ousted him or forced him to sell. And that's another thing that the NBA doesn't want to do. They don't want to have the risk of having another owner come in they don't like. I'm sure the NBA is not fond of Tillman Fertitta taking over one of the other big market teams. Houston is definitely up there in market
definitely.
size. And he's like one of the cheapest owners in the NBA. That's not good for business.
Yeah, for sure.
But another side note before we move on. So a good follow on Twitter, like we said at the top of the show, Streaky Shooter, his handle on Twitter. He is a Suns fan living in the Bay Area. Good follow. Good comedy guy. Ryan McDonough, but the thing about him, so he's very vocal about the Suns. He's a fan, good or bad, and he was not a big Ryan McDonough fan. So Ryan McDonough's first tweet on Twitter was going after him, criticizing him or saying like, "You think you can run a franchise like
what
suck or something like that." So yeah, Ryan, whenever I think of Ryan McDonough, I think of that and the GOAT story, where famously, Robert Sarver, when Ryan McDonough got hired as the GM of the Suns, he brought in, I think, 3 goats into Ryan McDonough's office, like live animal goats, and they shit everywhere. And Robert Sarver said it was because, like, we're the goat or something.
Yeah, just something fucking. That's like
a guy who drops the N-word on the reg.
that sounds like a guy who just learned what the goat means and like what that stands for. And like just wanted to do some
he told his secretary to drive to like Flagstaff and pick up like 3 goats and just drop them off in Ryan McDonough's office.
I'd be so pissed.
But what's your second thing?
Moving on to my second topic, I want to know what you think is Ja Morant's ceiling. So Ja has emerged as a superstar this season. I think so. To the surprise of some people, because he didn't have a spectacular sophomore season. I mean, he was coming off of his rookie of the year, his first season, and his sophomore season was fine. Nothing.
Since the playoffs, so he turned into a demon.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I think, if the Grizzlies were a top 3 seed right now, I think he would be in legitimate, MVP conversation too. So I want to know what you think Ja's ceiling is as a player.
Well, it's funny you mentioned the word superstar because I actually saw this exact argument on Twitter the other day of how many players you can call superstars. So there's stars in the NBA.
Right.
But when I think of superstar, I think of like 10 best guys. Okay. I think of everyone from KD to probably, I'd say the cutoff for superstar might be like Embiid.
It was what I was thinking. Anthony Lillard,
Davis. But like anyone less than that, like maybe Paul George on a good day, maybe. But like anything past that, I don't consider a superstar. Like Jason Tatum might be right up there, but I wouldn't call him a superstar.
And
I think Ja is right up there with
well,
those guys. I don't think
that's
he's
the
on
thing
the
is
top tier.
just based off of these first 10 games that we've had, and how good he's been at scoring, and his shooting has improved, and
Yeah, definitely.
he's taken a little bit of a jump defensively and all that as well too. I think he's pretty damn close to being a top 10 player, like just based off of this season. I mean, Damian
Yeah,
Lillard, like, because he's been playing better than Damian Lillard. He's been
right,
playing better than
right.
Anthony Davis. He's been playing better than, a few of those guys that are right at the cutoff of,
Yeah. I think
superstars.
top 10 is like just like in general, talent wise. I think top 10 is an insanely tough list, tough
Oh yeah,
group to crack. So, like you
what is
have to
there,
be
like
better.
200 something players in the NBA? Probably
More. Yeah,
Yeah.
You have to be to be considered top 10. You have to be definitively better than all those guys that we just mentioned.
Mhm.
Basically, like I think
Yeah.
we mentioned that Embiid was like 10 or AD was 10 or something like that.
Yeah,
Like you have to be
Lillard,
night
one
in,
of those
night out
guys.
better
Yeah.
than those guys. But you also mentioned earlier that if his team was better, he would be seen in a more positive light, and you're totally right. Like,
Yeah.
if Derrick Rose, when he put up MVP numbers, large part of that was they were the one seed in the East. They won
Right.
60 games.
60 games,
And if Ja had better teammates, he would be racking up more assists probably. He might even be scoring more just because he would have more space to do stuff.
Exactly.
His team is really not very good, and they don't space the floor very well. Another thing that he and Memphis could improve upon is defense, because they're defensively they're horrible.
Yeah, I was gonna say I believe they are
Worse than the NBA, I think.
I want to say they're
I think
30th
they're dead
in the
last.
NBA in defense. Yeah.
That's got to change. And if Ja, like, I think superstars, pretty much every superstar except for maybe like Curry and Luka, I'd say, are average defenders, but superstars play both ends of the floor. When LeBron needs to, he locks people down. When Kevin Durant needs to, he protects the paint. Embiid, those kind of guys.
Jokic has been good on defense.
Jokic has been okay.
Too,
he's been better than he was. Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure.
He's not getting roasted in the pick and roll like he usually is. But those guys, they turn it up on both ends of the floor, and I just don't see it from Ja. If he becomes a guy that he can be pesky defensively, he can be have active hands or play passing lanes, get steals, and just as virtue of being a smaller guard, it's harder for him to be good defensively, but offensively, it's definitely there. He's got the shot. He can penetrate at the rim. He loves going inside more than any player in the NBA, including big men. And then because of that, he has so much spacing from his dribble drives and stuff like that he can get it to teammates, and it improves the team. But my long-winded answer aside, does he have the potential to be a superstar? Absolutely. He has the potential to be the MVP. Yeah. Right now, he's got a little bit of ways to go, I'll say.
Yeah, I think that his ceiling, I think when we look at it over the next, because what is Ja Morant? Maybe like 22, 23?
You think his ceiling? You think it's Damian Lillard? Maybe.
In his prime? I think it's either Dame in his prime or, like I said, if Memphis just played better and just won some more games, and he was putting up the numbers that he's putting up right now, he could definitely be an MVP. So also the argument could be there could be like a Westbrook comparison then too, coming in and playing out of his mind and snatching up an MVP. I mean, his team, their team's never really going to amount to much. I mean, nobody looked at that 2017 Thunder team as a legitimate threat in the playoffs. It was just a case of one player playing historically and playing.
You could say the same about like Lillard. If his team was better, when Lillard was putting up, like, didn't he average like 45 a game or 40 a game in January?
I think so.
A year ago. Like when
there was a stretch of that. Yeah.
When he does that, his team. I mean, it's just his team letting him down at that point if they're not winning games. So if the Portland was ever the one seed, like Damian Lillard would probably scoop up MVP, and he's averaged 30 a game, close to it, a couple times where it's like, he could be. I sort of see that happening with Ja Morant, but his team's got to get better for him to be considered in the upper echelon of guys. But as a talent, his ceiling is yet to be seen, I think.
I think over the next 5 years, he will be a top 10 guy, like you said, in that Damian Lillard spot.
Yeah.
To where, he's going to be a solid guard, get his first team All NBAs, All Stars, maybe steal up an MVP if the Grizzlies are good, but
I think
I don't see them.
He's got to improve his defense.
Mm-hmm.
If he wants to be a superstar, if he wants to be a top 10 guy as a point guard, he has to improve his shot. Mm-hmm. I don't care if it can't be good. It has to be
consistently, yeah.
It has to be stellar, especially since his game is so from athleticism. So when he does get older and he loses a step, like Westbrook has, you see what Westbrook's not having a shot, it's costing him. Obviously, he's way older.
Right,
but if you can have a consistent shot as a point guard, your ceiling as a player goes up so
exactly.
much. If he can consistently knock down the three ball, and his team gets better, and defensively he becomes pretty much league average, above league average. He'll be right up there. But that's the big thing. Yeah,
for sure. And moving on to your third and final topic, what do you got for me?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the exact quote. The downfall, I'll go with, of the Sixers was greatly exaggerated by many, many people.
Yeah, I thought
they had the 1 seed last year, and they're right back up there right now. Mm-hmm. They have 2 losses coming versus both New York teams, Brooklyn and New York. Everyone else, though, they've been the Sixers. Defensively, they're really, really sound. Offensively, no one can stop Embiid, and they have a million shooters that can hurt you from all different angles. Thibault is a bulldog still. He's the number one guy, maybe 1A, 1B with Lou Dort, of guys that I wouldn't want to have guard me.
Yeah, you guys know how I feel about Steve Thibault at this point.
Yeah.
But no, 100%. I've watched him lock down some of the better guards in the NBA. He does a great job on.
Embiid is Embiid. Yeah. Offensively, he's an animal. Defensively, he's just shut centers down. If you have a big man that's likes scoring, he won't like scoring against Joel Embiid because he's going to have a tough fucking time.
Because I watched their 2 last games closely because it was against the Bulls.
Yeah.
And one of my biggest takeaways from it was so I had Philly, I believe, as either my 5 or my 6 seed going into this season. And one of my biggest concerns for that was the bench unit. And it was, what are these guys going to be able to do when Embiid is not on the floor? They're not falling off when Embiid steps off the court. Tyrese Maxey and Drummond are working a little bit of magic out there, off the pick and roll. Furkan Korkmaz is shooting 40% from 3.
Yeah, Furkan Korkmaz is a menace.
Exactly.
Georges Niang.
Exactly.
Georges Niang has been not only a solid pickup, but he's been lights out shooter as a big man. He's been nuts.
Right, because I believe that the idea about Philly going into this season without Ben Simmons for however long that's going to be was, everybody around Joel Embiid's going to have to step up, and they have.
Yeah.
Like everybody has taken a step up. Tobias Harris has been playing well. Seth Curry has been playing great too. He's shooting the ball at an elite level, we all expected. Paul Reed got a start the other day because Tobias Harris and Matisse Thybulle were out, and he actually played pretty well too.
Yeah,
I want to say he had a block on DeMar DeRozan, I think, or he dunked on DeMar DeRozan or something like that.
Might have, yeah. It looks like a Doc Rivers team. They're playing really hard. They're playing well in the regular season. We'll see what happens come April, but right now, man, they look like the 76ers. They look Embiid had a quote the other day saying we're playing something about playing with poise. They're playing together. They have a newfound sense of chemistry.
Yeah, exactly. And I think all they needed to do was lose Ben Simmons.
I guess, yeah. There's literally no other way to interpret that other than we cut out the guy that no one likes and we're playing better because of it.
Well, and then another thing too, going into, one of our first episodes when we were talking about the Ben Simmons stuff, we were saying that, Philly's losing leverage and they have to get him out because this is a team that has to be good right now. So they trade Ben for whatever, Malcolm Brogdon and TJ Warren or whatever. They're playing fine without him. And, now the idea of not trading Ben until whatever the deadline or until the season's over or whatever isn't as scary as a thought. I don't think that they're going to go far in the playoffs without either Ben or a replacement for him.
No, they won't.
In the regular season, it looks like they really might be just fine. Which is interesting. I don't know how many people.
I think you're spot on.
Yeah, I don't know how many people called that going into this season.
Probably not even Sixers fans, because they were pretty pessimistic coming into the season, as they probably should have been. Second, arguably third best player was who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
So what's your third thing?
My third one is talking about a team that has been good, but nobody cares. It's the Washington Wizards.
You're right. No one cares.
So the big changes going into this season were bringing in Wes Unseld Jr. as a coach and trading Westbrook for depth. Trading him for KCP, Montrezl Harrell, and Kyle Kuzma. And just the difference that has made, just going from, Scott Brooks, who I had no offensive scheme out there.
No, Scott Brooks has always been hailed since his Thunder days as a nice guy, the nicest guy in the NBA, but just not fit to be an NBA coach. He's kind of quiet, kind of,
right.
So.
It makes you wonder why they didn't fire him earlier, but you can see, it's like a night and day difference, And
they also got rid of Russell Westbrook, which I'm a big fan of doing if you want to win games, but that's just me.
Well, I mean, just the idea of just needing more depth like that, I think that definitely did. I mean, I'm just looking at the score. They just beat the Bucks.
Yeah.
101-94. Bradley Beal had 30 points. Kuzma 15 and 10. Montrezl Harrell had 15 points off the bench. These are all guys that are just, Howell Nato has been pretty solid this season too. And Corey Kispert is going out there and shooting threes.
Love Corey Kispert.
Denny Avdia is, he's okay. And then even like a guy like KCP who doesn't impact. I mean, he had 5 points, but he does so many things that don't show up.
He spaces the floor.
On the box score. He spaces the floor.
He gets respect from defenses. That's one thing I saw watching him with the Lakers. Sort of out of my wheelhouse. I think I've caught like a quarter or a half of Wizards games plus highlights. I know Montrez has been – usually he's pretty inconsistent. I know he's been feeling comfortable. He's been quoted as saying, he feels good about being on the floor more, playing more minutes for the Wizards.
Right.
And that bodes well for team chemistry.
Yeah,
I have no idea what Wes Unseld Jr. is about as a coach. No idea what his philosophies are, but he's got the bullets and Wizards in his blood. So
right, and
there's
the thing
some juju
with
going on with that.
Exactly, and the thing with Montrez too is him and Anthony Davis that never worked even from the beginning. So like you said, he's more comfortable out there being on the floor, and he's more comfortable with the role he has there, and it's showing. And like I said, the Wizards have been a good team this season.
Where do you see them ending up?
I think they could be like a 6 seed, honestly, with the
Really?
way that they're playing. Yeah, honestly, I've watched two
Who do you kick
games.
out from the consensus team? So you want me to – they're the 5th seed right now. I'll give you teams that aren't in the playoffs or aren't in the play-in. So 11th through 15th. I'll go 14.
Okay.
Which one of these teams isn't going to make it in? Because, like, the Cavs are currently in the playoffs technically.
Mm-hmm.
The Raptors are, the Hornets are. And then as well as the Bucks are the 10 seed. So the Wizards have to get ousted by some of these teams. The Celtics, the Hawks, the Pacers, and the Magic. Like, one of those teams is not going to make the playoffs
if I had to choose today, the Wizards are a better team than the Celtics and a better team than the Pacers.
Are you taking in injuries into account for the Pacers, though?
I think even injuries is okay. I don't know.
No, don't say that. Yeah,
okay, I don't know. Yeah, they're definitely deeper.
They're like we talked about this in a couple episodes. I think just this is just me. I know you are higher on them than I am, but they look like a team that's starting hot and will fizzle out. as the season goes on. I just don't see this how they're playing being sustainable just based on the talent they have in the team. They could be like the Hornets of last year, where they started out hot
where
and
they
were
started
really
out
exciting,
hot,
and then defense mattered, so they sort of stopped winning games. But they're fun story. I think it's cool that Washington has. I don't know if they're looking forward to anything with this team, but
that's true.
They're if they can have some hope or whatever, it's better than never having any at all, I guess.
I just think Beal has found his guys. Whether that
okay. I like that. I like that spin. That is a plus. 100%.
Right, because I mean, you look at this team pre-Westbrook. There was nothing there for him. I don't even remember who was on that team.
What, last season?
No, the season before Westbrook. So what was it? It was like Rui was on that team, and
he was a rookie, I think.
Who was the? I don't even remember who the
Bertans.
Davis Bertans.
John Wall was hurt, but he was
John
on the
Wall
team.
was hurt.
Sato, I think, was on that team.
Yes.
Satoransky.
Yeah, Sato. Yeah, Tomas Satoransky was on that team.
I wanted to say like Marcin Gortat or something.
I thought that too. Yeah, but we're probably like 5-6 years off of that. I don't think he's been in the NBA for a while. But no, exactly. I just think, and then even like going back to the Westbrook thing, they were so expensive at the top between Westbrook and Beal that they had no depth. They were working with Davis Bertans, Denny Avdia, who wasn't really good his rookie season, Rui Hachimura, who was fine. What's his name? I think Ish Smith was on that team. I think that's who was running the point. I just think Bradley Beal has found his guys, and he's open to just, he's scoring, because when he had that other unit that he was running with, he was having like 40, 50-point nights, and they were still losing.
Yeah.
So now he doesn't have to have 40 and 50. I mean, he had 30 right now, and they just beat the Bucks with Drew Holiday guarding him.
Yeah, he's a menace, and he's been sort of flip-floppy, if I recall, on whether or not he wants to stay in Washington, because he was open to being traded, I think, but then has came out and said he's comfortable playing Washington.
Yeah.
So it's been sort of weird. I don't know. I think that's sort of been a cold case at this point. Beal getting traded, at least. I think his contract is due up, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe. Yeah, I think he's a 2020. No, I thought he signed an extension.
Did he?
I think so.
But in terms of him wanting to be there, I think he's totally fine. Like, I just get from him the sense that he's totally fine scoring. Okay, he signed last year. He signed a 2-year deal, which will make him an unrestricted free agent in 2023. Okay. So he has this year and a year left.
Okay, for sure.
1.5 years in his deal. That's sort of like a wait and see kind of thing. He gets paid $35 million a year. The Wizards get him for a year and a half more. What happens after that, I don't know. But as long as he's scoring close to the highest amount in the league, looks like he's pretty comfortable in Washington. I don't know. Good for Wizards fans.
Exactly. Yeah, I think he's fully content with winning 38 games a season. At this point. But good for them. We'll see. Like you said, I mean, you don't think it's sustainable.
I don't.
We'll see. We'll see what goes on with that. But moving on to the part of the show where we go over some miscellaneous topics. These are things that weren't worth the full story. Some things that happened during games, some things that happened on NBA
it's
Twitter.
Like the 3-pointer. You have the 3-pointer, and you just got fouled, so you're going line for a couple free throws. Yeah,
exactly. But we'll both just have we'll speed run through this just before we get into the main topic of the show. But what do you got for me?
Yeah, so Ben Simmons saga, part 26. The Sixers strike back. So Ben Simmons, in his latest move on his side of the chessboard, was taking time off for mental health. And because in the NBA contract or whatever, it states that you can do that and you still get paid. And the Sixers have decided that fuck it, they're just not going to pay him and continue to fine him.
He got fined like $300,000 or something.
He got fined $300K. They're going to continue to fine him again. They're restarting that because he's seeking mental help outside of the Sixers organization. He's sort of shunned them and helping, and they're all open to helping him, and they want to get him help, but they want to work with him, not have him work independently. So they're back on top in terms of controlling the narrative, and they are fining him for missing games once again. Let's move on because everyone's sick of that story.
Oh, yeah.
I am, but I thought it was a necessary update. And I'll just go into my second topic again. The Pelicans are fucking ass.
Fresh.
We saw it coming. I'm sure everyone saw this coming, but they're 1-8 currently. Zion's fat, out of shape, and injured. Brandon Ingram is good, but no one cares. The franchise is in shambles. David Griffin's a moron. They trade picks. They just suck. The franchise is ass. Moved out of New Orleans. They're that bad. They have no fan base. They have no support from the national media. They're just in NBA hell.
Yeah, 100%.
Beyond purgatory. They're in hell.
And I feel for them. I really do.
Too. If you're in New Orleans, if you're a basketball fan in New Orleans, like, this is what you have to look forward to. David Griffin ruining a possibly generational prospect with a shit team.
Yeah.
They have shit colors. They have a shit brand. They have
shit
no
coaching.
History. They're just shit. They play like the ugly stepchild to the Saints or stepsister, whatever the fuck the term is. Right. I don't know. Whatever it is, they're the ugly whatever. Yeah, they're
it sucks because New Orleans is such a great city.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I had one of the best weekends of my life there, and I spent some time at the Smoothie King Arena as well too while I was there, and I had my Pelicans. It was cool. It was cool. I didn't go for an
arena.
It's fine, you know. Nothing, nothing, because it's right across from the Superdome.
Yeah.
And I mean, clearly, just when you put any NBA arena next to an NFL stadium, it's not going to look as special. But because I didn't even go there for a basketball thing, I went there for a WWE event.
Oh shit!
While I was there that weekend, so but no, it was electric in there, but it's because it wasn't a Pelicans game. So yeah. But moving on to my only miscellaneous topic, Cade Cunningham had a good game. Finally, he had 16 points. Yeah, about time. But
let's go.
I don't know if you saw after his first two stinkers out there, if you saw his trainer put on his Instagram story, it was Kobe's stats from his first 5 games or something, and how they were bad. And he was just like, "Don't worry, guys. Look at this." And everyone's just like, "Dude, shut up."
Did Kobe go 1 for 22 in his first couple starts? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have the stats in front of me, but
yeah, do not think so. But that's my only miscellaneous topic for today. Yeah. And now we're going to move into.
I have one more.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I had one more. We talked about the Heat defense being the best defense in the NBA last week. It only took them a couple days to get usurped by the Golden State Warriors of all teams. I didn't know they were supposed to be good defensively. I thought if they were going to be good, if they were going to be 8-2 this year or be as good as they are, I thought they would do it by just outscoring other teams. Curry would put up 35 or whatever, and then they'd shoot well. They're doing it pretty much complete opposite way. They're doing it defensively. They've been consistently locking teams up, holding them under 100 points, and it's just kind of an unexpected. I didn't see this coming.
No, definitely not. We'll see. We'll see if that's sustainable, and it's only going to help getting Klay Thompson back too. Klay's a great defender. We'll see.
He was
a great defender. We'll see how he looks on defense when he gets back.
Yes, we will.
Now we are moving into the main topic of the show for today, and that is we are going to be ranking the top 10 big threes in the NBA. We want to give a few disclaimers. First is that we are not counting any players that either haven't played this season or aren't going to play this season, or we just don't know when they're going to play, or injured or whatever. So that's because clearly Kyrie, KD, and James Harden would be probably number one on this list, but we can't include that because Kyrie Irving isn't playing. So no Kyrie, no Kawhi Leonard, no Jamal Murray, no Ben Simmons. All players like that we just don't know when they're going to play. And then the other disclaimer too is a few of these teams, there is some discussion to be had who the big three is, because what me and John were discussing before this, there's a lot of teams with a good duo, a big two, and then just another guy that's just kind of good on the team. So there's a few of them, and like I said, there's a few teams that you can definitely discuss of a big three. One of those, one of the honorable mentions I'm going to mention is the Boston Celtics. So that is the big three. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown are the clear, obvious ones. But who is the third one in there? Is it Marcus Smart? Is it Time Lord? It doesn't matter because they didn't make the top 10 anyway.
Okay.
But a few other ones that I had as well, too, that were some honorable mentions could be Julius Randle, RJ Barrett, and Mitchell Robinson. Or Kemba.
Was that your honorable? Was that an honorable mention?
That's an honorable mention. Yeah.
Okay. Mitchell Robinson.
Dude, Mitchell Robinson is great on defense.
He's good. He's a good player. He is great defensively.
Well, like I said, I mean, that's another example of a clear 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And the third guy is up in the air between Kemba or Mitchell Robinson. And now we talked about kind of the rules of this top 10. Let's get right into this top 10. Who did you have at number 10, John?
Well, I actually had someone that you listed in your honorable mentions because I had Tatum, Brown, and Time Lord Williams.
Okay.
As it stands, obviously this is one of them where there's a really, really strong duo and sort of a supplementary kind of guy. Normally, it would be Marcus Smart filling in that third spot, but he hasn't been very good this year.
Now, I like what Williams brings there's a rift between him and the main duo on the team. But yeah, no, I agree. If there was a number 11 spot on here, they would have been my number 11, and I kind of debated, doing that. And I mean, I'll explain my number 10 on this list because those two are kind of interchangeable to me. And I did have Time Lord as my third running mate with Tatum and Brown, just based off. I mean, he's blocking a ton of shots. He's doing fine defensively, just with him being exactly good energy, just with him being a smaller center. But that 10 and 11 spot is kind of interchangeable to me, and I'll explain my reasoning as to why I had my number 10 as my number 10. And this is one of those ones to where it's not even like a real big three, barely. I mean, it's really just kind of one guy and two other guys that are, I guess, the second best players on the team. I'm going to go with Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Jordan Poole. Yeah,
okay.
and
okay.
That'll be swapped. I mean, that Jordan Poole one will be swapped with Klay Thompson whenever Klay comes back.
Yeah.
But
okay,
just based off of right, and like I said, I mean, I could have maybe swapped Draymond for Andrew Wiggins, but Draymond's just a better defender and just kind of a leader on this team right now too. So my number 10 is Steph Curry, Jordan Poole, and Draymond. I mean, Jordan Poole is he's playing
getting
well.
There.
He's scoring. Yeah. He's getting there for sure. And Draymond plays defense and is a vocal leader out there. So I very loosely considered this a big three. If it was Klay Thompson, like I said, Klay would take Jordan Poole's spot, but that was kind of interchangeable between the Celtics and this three right here. But I mean, I'm not going to put too much into that, and the reason I chose them was just because they're winning games. And, and
it's winning. Fixes everything. Yeah, it's
exactly.
Okay.
But moving on to number 9, who do you got?
Sort of an underrated one, and then my next couple are pretty interchangeable. But I'll at number 9, I'll put Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell, and Bojan Bogdanovic.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I had that variation shows up on my list later on, but I had a different guy in there.
Oh, interesting. Okay. It was between another guy, but I like Bogey because he scores a lot, and he's pretty underrated, I think.
I agree. I think he's one of the most underrated players.
And then Gobert is probably the best rim protector in the league, and Donovan Mitchell
is the best rim protector.
And then Donovan Mitchell is a scoring machine when he wants to be.
37 or something.
He's an animal.
I agree. But I'll go into my number 9 then, because I do have the Jazz on this list, but just later on.
Yeah.
So my number 9, I am going with Trey Young, John Collins, and Clint Capella.
Okay. I have them later on as well.
I mean, John Collins has quietly been really good this season.
Yeah.
And he's just playing his role perfect. Like playing it perfect. And same thing with Clint Capella. You know, he is one of the biggest lob threats in the league between him and Trey. He still manages to give John Collins space to do what he does well too, and that's a good trio. And then Trey Young is Trey Young. You know, he scores the ball at an elite level and all of that. So I'm gonna have those three at my number 9.
Okay, yeah. Number 8, I put them over these next two guys mainly because of the third spot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's truly is a debate. Right now you could probably argue that the guy I have in here isn't their third best player, but I'm putting it on there, and it's Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and Kyle Lowry. Not
you had
Tyler
them at
Hero,
number
right?
8.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
You think higher or lower?
I had them higher.
High, like further down the list?
Yeah.
Like closer to 1?
Yes.
Okay.
What's your reasoning for that?
I did have them at number 8. I think offensively, there's a little bit to be desired, especially this year with those three guys. Defensively, they're all incredibly solid, and they play really good defense, and they're all good team guys, and they're smart players. But just not really what I think of as a big three. Scoring's not there. They defer to the other guys. They're solid, you know, but yeah, in terms of like this season, they'd be higher up there. But in general, I think as the season goes on, talent wise, I think they'll be around here. Yeah,
because I'm essentially just going based off of what we've seen in these first like 10 games.
10 games.
Yeah.
Okay. Then if that was the case, then yeah, I'd put them a lot higher. But I'm talking about like the end of the season. When you look back in the season, what I think will be like talent-wise, like who I'd want for my team, basically.
Yeah.
If I was to, in a vacuum, pick a big three together, this is probably what I'd pick. And like I said, a lot of these, like 4, I think a lot of these are interchangeable. I might have some questionable picks, but I have no problem putting them 8.
Okay.
So.
Okay,
yeah,
for sure. I mean, I definitely had them a lot higher. And like I said, I'm just going based off of these first 10 games, and that's why I put the Warriors big three over the Celtics big three, just based on them winning games. But going into my number 8 pick, then it is Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, and Nikola Vucevic. And that Vucevic one, I mean, it's interchangeable with Lonzo. I mean, Vuce has been terrible this season, but
Vooch has been really bad.
That has been the big three going into this season. But I mean, they're playing. I mean, DeRozan and LaVine are playing well, and I mean, I don't expect.
Yeah, and Vucevic should be playing well. He usually plays well. He can score. He can do basically everything on offense. But yeah, and I'll just say right now, I had them at 7. So if we can talk about them now,
no, go ahead.
And that's totally dependent on Vucevic playing like Vucevic. He's been shit this year. He's been real bad. He hasn't, like Caruso's been more impactful than him this season by far.
Right,
I think.
Yeah.
Just because Caruso isn't just a walking like defensive liability.
Right.
But LaVine and DeMar have been outstanding as scorers, and if Vucevic gets that up the pace as a guy that averages like 22 and 10 or whatever, then this is a really formidable big three that they have going on in Chicago.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's like I said, I had them at 8 just based on Vuce not being good this season. I mean, if Vuce was playing at how he usually does or even close to it, I would believe that they would be higher.
Yeah.
But going into my number 7 pick, it is Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris, and Seth Curry.
Okay, I didn't have them on my list because I looked at the third option and thought the drop-off was massive. I looked at Embiid, Tobias Harris, and I thought, who the fuck would even be the third guy? And I just left it.
I'm pretty sure Philly is the number 1 offense in the league right now.
Really?
I believe so. I want to say I just saw
Memphis has to be up there.
Yes, probably, but I want to say Memphis is like 7 right now. Or I know they're top 10 for sure.
That's interesting. Okay, yeah, Embiid, Harris, and Curry.
Because I mean, Seth Curry is just shooting the ball and doing playmaking a little bit out there. But I mean, it's Embiid and Tobias Harris that are leading that trio. And I mean, there's a pretty big gap there. But I want to say, like I said, I want to say they're the number one offense in the league right now.
They are. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I told you so.
How about that?
I couldn't keep them off my list.
Right.
Because of that, and then that third player could be changed with whoever, just based off of how big that gap is. I mean, you could say Embiid, Tobias Harris, and fucking Paul Reed, and I don't think it really changes anything,
Yeah,
But,
I guess.
Going into number 6, then who do you got?
I had Trey Young, Clint Capella, and John Collins. Collins has been worth his money. Capella is such a good complementary option to like a duo or whatever. He's such a good third option because he's just an amazing lob threat, and he can play defense and get boards, and he doesn't need to have the ball in his hands or anything like that.
Right.
And then obviously Trey Young. So we talked about that. Trey Young's been amazing. He's been shooting well. He's passing well. He has to be respected inside half court, just the way it is. And his effect on his offense. Hawks haven't been that great this season, but I have no doubt that I think they'll pick it up.
Yeah, no, I definitely think so.
Yeah.
Going into my number 6, then I have Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell, and Mike Conley.
Okay, yeah. Conley was the other guy. He had sort of a down year last year.
Yeah.
Wasn't really up to par. This year he's been
good. He's aging, and you can kind of tell at this point, but he's still a valuable two-way point guard. He's tough and gritty on defense. He does point guard things on offense as well too. I mean, his shooting hasn't fallen off terribly, but I have them at number 6, and they're winning games.
Yeah.
So that's why I will put them in. Who do you have at number 5? We're getting into the top 5. I think this could start to get a little spicy here.
This is, if we're going off just the season, then this is going to look bad. But in terms of like talent, when Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, and Yusuf Nurkic are all on, they're the only 3 players on Portland that matter.
They didn't make my top 10.
They didn't make your top. Yeah, based on this season, I would put them in the top 10. But based on just in general, they're the only 3. First, they're like a real big 3 in terms of again, Portland has no one else other than them. They are the Portland Trailblazers, and when they're on, they're on. Nurkic is a beast. McCollum can put up points, and then Damian Lillard is Damian Lillard. So,
but he hasn't been Damian Lillard this season,
no,
so that is why they did not make my top 3. But I mean, like you said, they're clear. When you think of a big 3, that's kind of what you think of. I mean, Robert Covington's been bad this season. Other guys on that team aren't really doing all that much either. Anthony Simons hasn't taken the jump that a lot of people thought he was going to, a year or 2 ago. And they didn't make my list because, like I said, I'm just going based off of this season. And that's why some people might be surprised at my number 5. But like I said, it's just based off of what we've seen. It's LeBron, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook. Just
wow.
Well, I mean, going off of these last 10 years. Well, first, LeBron's missed 5 games, and when these 3 have been on the court together, it has not been, perfect in sync, basketball out there. Do I think they're gonna figure it out? Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But we're doing this 10 games in, and like I said, I'm going based off of what we've seen, and I don't think I could put them any higher than 5 just based off of what we've seen so far. Talent-wise, I mean, when you have LeBron and Anthony Davis,
they don't fit well, but the talent is immense. Yeah,
exactly, and just how they haven't really played great that season. It hasn't meshed just yet, so I'm going to keep them at number 5 for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, number 4, I had these are starting to get into more or less the real big 3s. I think players that complement each other well, players that are all immensely talented, except for I have one exception. And then players that are basically all stars for the most part. And I had CP3, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton.
I had them at number 4 too.
All the bases. They cover all the bases. Ayton covers defense. He's a lob threat. He can bang inside. And then CP3 and Booker on both ends of defensively they're decent, and offensively they're just such a a great duo.
It's probably, I'd say, the best guard duo on this list.
On this list, yeah.
Yeah, no, I would definitely say so.
I'd probably say so.
You know, yeah. Chris Paul is still one of the best facilitators in the league. Devin Booker just plays so well off of him.
Yeah.
Just the open looks and the
they both hit mid-rangers like crazy.
Exactly. I mean, they were cooking Brook Lopez on the mid-rangers at the beginning of the series last year. And, I'm totally cool with putting them at 4 on my list. Who do you have at number 3?
So, number 3, I cheated. I put KD, Harden, and who gives a fuck?
I put KD, Harden, and Patty Mills.
I was going to put Patty Mills, and I thought, there's no fucking way I'm putting Patty Mills on a big 3 list. I thought about putting Blake Griffin, and I thought about Aldridge even.
I could have even I was thinking about putting Nick Claxton in there, you know.
So I just put who gives a fuck because no one cares. KD and Harden alone are a wagon.
And Harden's kind of figuring out he had after we talked about him not playing well and him getting affected by the new rules. He had 2, I believe, 30-point games.
Yeah, he's James Harden.
And then he didn't look great against the Pistons. He had a little bit of a brain fart. I don't know if you saw that Sadiq Bey play. Yeah, where Sadiq tipped it out of his hands, and he just kind of watched the ball roll. And
getting called for the offensive foul on he hooked, I think, might have been Bey again. He hooked someone, or Jeremy Grant. And went up, and they called an offensive foul for a move that he would grant him 2 automatic free throws any other year that he played in the league, basically. So
they
would be my number 1 if Kyrie Irving was healthy, but he's not. So
that's the thing is I put Patty Mills just based off of, I guess he's been their 3rd best player, and just going off of this season too. Like I said, Harden hasn't been spectacular. I mean, Kevin Durant's KD, and he's been playing really well too. But I mean, they're not winning games. They're not winning that many games, and Harden's been up and down. So I'm cool with putting them at number 3. Who do you have at number 2?
I'm curious to see who you have in the top 2, unless I'm forgetting someone.
Do you want me to say my number 2 right now?
Yeah,
it's Kyle Lowry, Jimmy Butler, and Bam Adebayo.
Oh, okay. I forgot about them. I was going to say I didn't remember you saying that you had him higher. I was like, who the fuck am I forgetting? But that makes sense.
Lowry, Butler, and Bam. I mean, when I think of a big 3, the way that I would construct a big 3 on my team, that is a point guard that can shoot, that can facilitate, good off the dribble, all of that. That's Kyle Lowry. I would have a wing who is an elite defender like Jimmy Butler and can still give you, 20-something a game, and have a center, that Bam can shoot the ball, and he is one of the better defensive bigs in the league too. He's good off the pick and roll with Kyle Lowry. When I think of a big 3,
switch a lot.
He can switch all of that. He doesn't get killed, on switches or anything. So. Yeah, when I think of a big 3, that's exactly how I would construct it, and their offense has been very efficient around these 3 guys. I mean, a lot of these other players are benefiting off of playing with these guys. Like a guy like Tyler Hero. You can kind of hide PJ Tucker in that starting lineup when you have these 3 playing so well, and Duncan Robinson, just based off of the gravity that Kyle Lowry and Jimmy Butler have. He's getting good open looks.
Yeah, so, I think talent-wise, you could do a lot better than these 3.
I agree. I agree 100%.
Yeah, but there's no denying their impact on the team, especially this season. It's their play style is how the Heat play, all 3 of them. And they've been force pretty much. So I have no problem with that based on your criteria.
Who's your number 2 then?
But my 2 top teams have talent. They have it all basically, and my number 2, it was really close, but my number 2 is Giannis, Middleton, and Drew Holiday, because we already saw what they can do in the playoffs. And Giannis alone is a force, and you throw in Middleton, who's a 20+ a game scorer, and Drew Holiday, who is a walking off night for other opponent guards and even forwards. They just complement each other so well. And they're pretty much that's a big 3. Like that's they're 3 amazing players that complement each other well, and they could very well be on their way to another title if they figure it out in this regular season. They need to figure it out.
And Middleton's been missing some time too, and so has Drew Holiday. But who was your number one then? Oh, wait.
It was LeBron, AD, and Westbrook because of LeBron and AD. I think Westbrook has his moments. I'm not a big fan of Westbrook. He does have his moments though, and LeBron and AD, when they're healthy, I mean, they're just a wrecking crew. They'll put up 30 each with good defense, and they'll throw each other lobs and do pick and rolls and shit. Yeah. And in terms of like, if they're on and Westbrook is getting to the hoop, drawing fouls and being a pest on defense, then like no one wants to play against this team. They're still immensely talented, and that's like the textbook definition of a pick three. So
yeah, because I mean, I would have had them number one if they haven't sucked so far this season.
They've been ass. I attribute that to just LeBron being like, I don't give a fuck. I'm in my 19th year, and I'll be around during April.
And Anthony Davis had a rumbly tummy, and he sat out in the middle of the game. He doesn't care at this point either, and that's why, I mean, I put them at number 5 just based off of this season. But I mean, clearly talent-wise, I mean, they're the most talented big three that we have right now. But my number one is, Giannis, Chris Middleton, and Jrue Holiday. Like you said, it is a textbook big three. They're just coming off a championship and very much could be on their way as well too. Once all the pieces come together at the end of the season, I still think they're going to be scrambling for a real perimeter defender at the deadline. But as of right now, I'm totally fine with putting them at my number one spot.
Yeah,
for sure. So and let us know, guys, if we missed any other in our top 10 as well too. I mean, like I was missing. I didn't have Portland in here. I mean, if you think Malcolm Brogdon, Domantas Sabonis, and Karis LeVert should have been on here as well too. Let us know if we missed anybody. Let us know if also if you would have switched any players around too. If you would have swapped, Vooch with Lonzo Ball, or if you would have swapped, Clint Capella maybe with DeAndre Hunter. That was a debate that I was having in my head too. Yeah. And same thing even with the Jazz one, if you would have taken Bogdanovich over Mitchell. Let us all know in the comments. And this is the part of the show where I tell you guys to do all of those YouTube things. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. It goes a very long way, and we very much appreciate it. We will be back on Wednesday with another episode. And follow us on Twitter as well, too, at TTDpod. And, that's all that we have for you guys today. And stay tuned, and we'll be back on Wednesday. Alex and John, signing out.